Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Katie.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Nick is here.
Hi.
Hi. And Gal is here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Spence is out of town. He may call in because he's driving.
I'm also out of town.
That's true.
I'm
It's a green screen.
mentally out of town.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Yep. Another Sunday.
Yep.
So what's been happening? What anybody has anything that happened last week?
I haven't dug into this problem at all yet, so I'll use this as my first step of troubleshooling because why
Okay.
do anything myself? Hey Gal, I got a question for you. So all of my Gal's mentally checked out. Look at that, Gal's out of town. That's amazing. Oh my God, he's on a plane somewhere else right now. So I got my new HDHomerun, or I got a used HDHomerun. My TV tuner got blown up by a lightning strike a couple weeks ago, so I bought a new one. And surprisingly, Plex picked up all my recordings and everything, my scheduled recordings and everything perfectly. All of my recordings are starting a few minutes late. Does Plex have a clock that it works on?
Mhm.
And is it possible that my time is off?
First of all, even if it doesn't have a clock, right, you can probably, if the clock is exactly the same as the system, you can probably do something to shift it. But
Yeah. What would be causing that?
it
Isn't that weird?
uses it uses the system's clock. I'm guessing you're running Plex inside a Docker container.
It's actually its own OS on side of Jesus, what is it called? It's its own virtual machine. It's the Plex virtual machine OS. Wait,
Okay.
no, it's running inside of Ubuntu. I lied.
Okay. So it's using that Ubuntu clock.
With the clock, where the clock might be off. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's a system setting for that. So it's at the system OS level that you'll need to
Gotcha.
change that. And check if that OS, if that Ubuntu is doing NTP updates properly. It
Yeah.
might just not.
Okay.
And the other thing that I ended up using to be a little bit more precise, when you're recording, when you set up the recording, if you go to advanced, there is start so many minutes before the top of the hour and end so
Yeah.
many minutes. And the problem is they do it by minutes. And a minute is a
Yeah.
long time. I wish they had like by second.
And I'll verify, but I feel like all of them, because I'm recording, I only record one thing, and it's the 6 p.m.
And
news.
and if
And
you,
it's always, and you see the time bug on the bottom of the screen, and it starts at 6:03, 60. I think it's 6:04 is when it's actually starting, which is odd.
oh,
So I'll so check the, yeah, actually it is, because all of the videos are 24 minutes, 26 minutes long. They're starting at 4 minutes. So I wonder if it's just my my Ubuntu clock has drifted.
if you go to the recordings, did it do something to how many minutes after
No,
beginning?
no, it's set to zero
It's
zero.
it. Okay. Hmm.
Mhm. So
Yeah. So it's got to. I mean, there's also it also kind of depends, I guess. And God, correct me if I'm wrong. There's always a delay, and if the processor on the HDR home run is very slow, then by the time it gets it, it's later in the later than the top of the hour, and it'll do it. But it's not by minutes, and it's literally by second because it's
oh,
not.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, and I would expect it,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd expect it to be a couple seconds. Plus, I mean, if you're recording live television, it's they're if it's especially if it's a local program and they're
Mhm.
coming from one local program to another, the time isn't always accurate anyway because yeah, they're in a local block, so it's not like there's no national anything with it. Um, so okay, that's where I'll start.
But that's interesting that since you replaced it,
Well, here's the thing: I don't watch it
it's
all the time, so it may have been going on before. I don't know. My clock is spot on the machine, so maybe I just need to restart Plex, the service itself. That's probably probably where I should have started. And there's an update available, so we'll use that as an excuse to do an update.
Yeah, but then
I
you'll
was
start.
very impressed. Sorry.
I said, after you update, you'll start cussing the system because things have changed and moved. And
I'm not Amnon. No, I won't be doing that.
oh,
Uh,
that's right.
I was very impressed though with so I replaced my device with a different model, same brand but different model, and I was very impressed with how the DVR settings all saved, even though I deleted my tuner. I was very impressed with how Plex was able to just automatically transfer that stuff over.
Yeah, because
So,
I don't think it has anything to do with HD home run. That's a Plex setting.
well, yeah, but if there's no, it could easily link the DVR settings to the tuner. And when you delete the tuner, there go the DVR settings, but it
Hmm.
obviously keeps those things separate, which is good. And it was able to automatically lock back onto the channel. I don't who knows, maybe the reason it's not recording right is because of the DVR settings. Maybe I need to go in and redo those. I'm not sure. Um, but just relatively seamless for what had
Oh,
happened.
yeah, the thing with Gal and this is Gal is not using a tuner.
yeah,
Oh, sure. Yeah. But still in terms of a system clock,
I've tuned out.
It, he's
story of
too.
my life. Amnon, you have the mouse on the screen in the Zoom call, I believe.
Yep, I did.
Mhm. Don't worry, I'm watching. I'm
Yeah,
keeping track for you.
let me.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
Is it tickling?
great, great, yeah, great broadcasters. So- oh
uh,
man. So,
oh,
does anybody has anybody used TurboTax recently?
I
ooh.
have. I've did my taxes with it this year.
Do you have the story, Amnon?
I think so. But you
It's a
go
North
ahead. No,
Carolina
you go
story.
ahead. Go ahead.
So if you so this is I don't so our attorney general who's running for governor, I'm not a big fan of it all. And neither his office is not a big fan of me based on some of the emails I've gotten from them. Nevertheless, every once in a while, a blind squirrel or a broken clock gets the time right or finds a nut. And in this case, Josh Stein, the Democrat attorney general, has sued TurboTax over what he claims to be free tax services that residents in North Carolina should have received. So I don't know who exactly this is going to go back to, but there's a $4.5 million settlement for 150,000 North Carolinians, and apparently you'll just get an email from the company that is doing it. You don't have to sign up; they have the data from TurboTax, um, and you will get a check between $29 and $30. Um,
Wow.
and those will be mailed out if you used TurboTax The settlement applicants to applies to certain customers who paid into it to file their federal tax returns through TurboTax for tax years 2016, 2017, and 2018, but were eligible to file for free through the IRS free file program. So I don't know
Oh,
who
okay.
exactly that is. But you will receive an email
So
and
I
checks
can
will be
tell you who
mailed as
those
well.
is. Those are.
Okay.
The free file is for those who make under $54,000 a year. So those are eligible for free file.
Great. Well, when I moved down
Yeah.
here, I wasn't making anything, so that I will. I think I used
Yeah, yeah.
TurboTax both those years. So
I find
little bit of free money,
I,
baby.
I looked for the article and I find one number very, very surprising. So it's 4.5 million to 150,000 North Carolinians, right?
Oh yes,
Only 150,000 use TurboTax.
only 150,000 fall under the free file program.
Right. Okay. That may
Yeah.
and use TurboTax, right?
Yeah.
There are alternatives.
Well,
I don't know.
I
That
found it
number
interesting.
seems it's not as popular as we thought it was. That's what I find.
I use H&R Block.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so North Carolina has close to about 10 million. I think our population is right around
Yeah.
10 million. Um,
Well, the story that I have, Nick, is
it is an
actually
interesting number, Gal. Now that
Yeah.
is
I can't tell if I can't tell if that's a normal number or not. People living in
Exactly.
North Carolina filing on TurboTax that make under that payment threshold, 150 is probably not too far off. There's a million
Maybe,
other
I don't know.
services too, like
Yeah.
H&R Block and everything else.
I mean, it definitely does not put them at number one. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, they are the number one tax software, absolutely.
Yeah, but not in North Carolina.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying. It's like these numbers, they do not add up as being the number one used.
Interesting.
the story that I have is actually about the New York Attorney General.
Oh,
It's
this is multi-state?
it's a countrywide. It's a U.S. It's not just
Right,
North
because
Carolina. So it says
free file is a federal thing.
Yeah. Well,
TurboTax.
your AG would have had to do it.
TurboTax will begin sending checks next week to nearly 4.4 million low-income Americans whom the company deceived into paying for tax services that should have been free. That's coming from New York Attorney General Letitia James. The checks, part of a $141 million settlement reached in May 2022 between TurboTax owner Intuit and all 50 states
Wow.
and the District of Columbia, are for people who were eligible to file taxes for free through an IRS partner program, but were tricked into paying TurboTax between 2016 and 2018. The company was also accused of knowingly misleading customers and blocking its landing page for its IRS free file program. A public-private partnership with the IRS, from showing up on search engines such as Google, because Intuit and other companies agreed to participate in the program. The IRS agreed not to offer its own free electronic tax service. So Intuit admitted no wrongdoing in the settlement.
Oh, of course not. That's why
Yeah.
you settle.
But here's the sad part. Customers who qualify will receive between $29 and $85, depending
Well,
on the
that's-
number of years.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
but
sense.
that's what they paid for
Yeah.
the service, right?
Yeah.
It's not
Yes.
like, yeah.
This is
But
not a class action lawsuit.
I actually think, right, they should receive with interest. I don't know how much that is, but
Wait, hold on. The federal government doesn't give you
Right.
interest on the money that they steal from you.
They
throughout the year.
penalize you. The federal government, if you pay
penalize you. That's right.
if you pay estimated tax and you paid more than what you were supposed to, forget interest. You get penalized.
Oh, well, even better. The two-tiered system. Rules for thee, but not for me.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. There's no reason for people to do anything. They'll get an email and they'll start sending it this week and throughout May.
They may receive something in the email.
Yeah, they will.
They may
We'll
not.
see.
They may. Yeah. That's why it's the month of May,
It's
right?
yeah, there may or may not. I mean, but the thing here is what disturbing part is that here's a company who you would think are providing a service and they advertise heavily and people go for it, and it's a big company. It's not a mom and pop. And then you
Yeah,
turn
but
out
that's
to
why they
be
get sued also.
that it's a some kind of a scam almost. I mean, it is a scam.
TurboTax is almost a racket.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a
Look,
shame.
the software, right, is top notch.
Yes.
I've used it, and I've used it after a few of 8 years of using an accountant. Okay, and
And
the software is top notch because it does cross reference all of the information and all that. But I agree, it's with these large organizations that, especially if I think it's true for any type of customer, but especially with consumer customers. It's all about how do we squeeze. Okay, we already got their money. Now, how do we squeeze them for more? Right. So you got a good product. You keep working on the product. You keep improving it. Now you're worried about, okay, how do I trick them to pay more if even if they don't need to? And that mindset that needs to get out of business. That that isn't sustainable.
mhm.
And I'm glad. I mean, this is probably the first time I'm hearing the government actually basically suing for a dark pattern, right? The dark. We talked about this specifically about probably 2 or 3 years ago. I remember figuring out what free file was for Shy, my when he was filing while he was a student, and realizing that there is this completely free version, but you need to go through the IRS site in order to get to it, and you couldn't find it. And I remember that, and we talked about dark patterns and all that. And yes, it's infuriating. I'm just glad that somehow this is finally creeping in into public service, actually protecting the consumer here in a way. It's just I know it's just a drop in the ocean, right? It's like this is just one example of where this is happening. And I hope that more lawsuits like this happen because this will somehow take this company and bring them in line. This whole we need to wring out another cent out of this customer attitude. It needs to stop.
Oh, what is Eleanor saying? So many companies do similar things. Amazon does it through its rules for sign up. Yeah. And so many fight against regulation. The companies get away with it all the time.
Well, it's not even getting away with it. I mean, for example, if you have spent any time watching television, or if you've seen ads for TurboTax over the last, they've been advertised. They go heavy. They start around like November or September, November, October of the year prior is when they really start bolstering up their advertising. You would assume TurboTax is free based on how much they advertise it. Then you get all the way through your tax return and they're charging you like $170 to file federal and state and pay this TurboTax fee. It's not free. It's not even close to free. It's incredibly misleading.
It's very, 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 absolutely.
But as Gal mentioned, it's incredibly freaking easy. And you just suck it up and deal with it because it's going to be more work to switch to Tax Slayer one of these other things. So it's just and the great thing about TurboTax and what they've done really well is the data that crosses over year to year. Once you use TurboTax once, it will take is if nothing major has changed in your life, like different employers or anything, you can literally file your tax return in about 10 minutes. I mean, all of the data just pulls in automatically from the year prior. There's nothing else to change besides putting in your new W-2 or 1099 info. And even if it's different, marginally different, it's still incredibly easy.
Apparently. Katie, you said you're using H&R Block.
Yeah,
How
H&R Block is the same thing.
how much do they charge?
Well, I actually switched to doing a person, because, during COVID, because I was furloughed and then unemployed and this, that, and the other thing, and it got really complicated. And, so I just have somebody do it. But before that, I think it was like $25 to file for state. It was under $100, the whole thing. And
Yeah.
but that was like 5 years ago, before COVID.
Well, last year, Hannah did it herself too, and she said that, I mean, you have to pay for state something and federal something.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to
It's
pay separate for both.
yeah, and it came to $115.
That sounds about right.
Well,
And this year, I said, "Hannah, forget it, just let our accountant do it for you." It was 60. An accountant did it for $60.
Well, hold on though. You have an account that you've been working with for how long?
I mean, with Mark, not long, maybe 3 years. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, but, I told him
Okay, I
about
think he got some new business from a couple of customers this call. So
I told him
yeah,
about
dang, what the heck? I'm none. I need to have your accountant do my taxes.
I
H&R Block
exactly.
charges an arm and a leg.
I told him about this, about Hannah's thing, and he said, "Amnon, it was a W-2, and all she has is that she has a house, so it's the interest, whatever. It's not a complicated tax return. It's not
Right.
like yours."
It makes sense, Katie. Think about it. That accountant in H&R Block, he needs to get that $60 for his time, and so they need to take about 50% more just to cover all of the other expenses, right?
Yeah,
So
That's
mine's a
for
true.
little
them and to make a
complicated.
profit. So
They charge per document that they have to file or
yeah,
whatever. And,
accountants work the same way.
honestly, it's expensive, but I keep going back to it because it's so easy just to go in and hand off your paperwork. And so but when I first did it, again, I started during COVID, so I scanned all of my documents in, which took forever, and then uploaded it to their website, and then they did it for me. I think I went into the office for a little bit to, like, sign the papers, and then I was done. And and this time, I didn't even feel like scanning in the paperwork. I just showed up with a folder of all my crap, and they did it for me, and I'm paying a luxury price because I don't wanna deal with it.
Yes.
Alright.
And I'm okay
Absolutely.
with that. I'm 100% okay with that.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it with the fee. I get through the whole thing and it's like whatever it is, 140, 160, whatever. And it's like, yeah, this is just cost of doing business. Now, here's the cool thing, and I think Amnon, you mentioned this a couple weeks ago. Um, the IRS has a free file
Not
system.
yet. They're
Not yet.
building they're building
Okay,
a
They have
then
a
it'll be
free
website.
ready.
file program, which includes some companies that provide it.
Yeah.
Every
Yes.
year, there's a new bidding. So sometimes it's TurboTax, sometimes it's another one.
Yeah. Um, but
Yeah,
no, but they no. They have a different thing that they just rolled out that we just talked about a
I
couple
d they
weeks
did
ago.
not roll it out. They are building a website that will allow people to file for free.
Federal for free.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, a lot of these companies like TurboTax and stuff complaining that it's gonna take their bread and butter
Yeah. Well,
away.
yeah.
So but
So,
it's not done yet. They
but it only solves one. It only solves half of your problem,
yeah,
unless it's also going to estimate your state taxes
state,
on there
I
too.
doubt it. I think they're gonna leave it to the state
Well,
to do
North
it.
Carolina is just so jacked up anyway. You still have to send. You either have to mail a voucher or pay it through the
Yeah.
DOI website, which is a joke. Um. So Interesting. I mean, they do a hell of a job. They advertise like a mother effer on
Absolutely,
television and
they
radio
it's
and everywhere else. They've
yeah,
been, I mean, YouTube ads for months and months and all over the place. I mean, Intuit knows what they're doing. They're not a stupid.
and they're paying probably a lot for it because that's not a public, what do you call it? Public
Public
announcement.
service.
Oh God, no, not public service. No, they're paying a I mean, they do Super
Yeah.
Bowl ads and it's worth it. As Gal mentioned, it's the service works incredibly well. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
freaking simple.
Yeah. Yep.
There she goes.
There she goes. All right. Um, like you played a lot of Fortnite, didn't you?
I've actually been playing it all week.
Well, listen
Fun
to this
fact.
here. Fortnite is now an official Olympic esport
Oh, great.
as Epic's metaverse game will be part of the inaugural Olympic Esports Week lineup. Taking place in Singapore, the 4-day festival of virtual sports and gaming created by the International Olympics Committee will see a dozen players from the Fortnite Champions Series compete in a sharpshooting competition backed by the International Shooting Sport Federation. This event will be virtually held on a Fortnite creative island that was created just for the event and will showcase the marksmanship of Fortnite's best sharpshooters. If you can't make it to Singapore on June 24th, the competition will be live streamed through the official Olympic website and through the organization's social media channels. So it's part of the Olympics, the esports.
I mean, yes and no. Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's not like you're going to be watching the Olympics on NBC and they're going to be
No,
showing the guy
no.
doing the triathlon and then some jackass playing Fortnite. I mean, it's not like they're going to have a double screen of it.
They need to do Smash Brother tournaments.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And 64 Smash at the Olympics.
They're probably looking at Apple now and going, nah, 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 nah. Right?
That sounds cool though. Esports is hit and miss with me. I usually like playing the games more than I like watching them, but some games are fun to watch because you could tell that the skills to play it is pretty crazy. Almost like robots playing.
Oh. So I'm sure each and every one of us has a Gmail account, using it or not.
Uh-oh. What is
Only
this article?
one?
Well,
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, seriously.
so the story goes here Gmail is starting to show more ads on mobile devices and the web. Starting on mobile, we've observed that Google is now showing ads within your inbox's updates filter. This is coming from 9 to 5 Google. That automatic filter is designed to capture emails regarding orders, select promotions, billing statements, and more. Now, Gmail is starting to show 2 ads at the top of the Updates tab, just like it does on the other tab. Beyond that, it also appears that Gmail is starting to mix its ad on desktop throughout the list of emails under Gmail tab. They're at least not showing in the main inbox. Dozens of
Let
reports.
them show in the main inbox as well. I mean, it's a free
Well,
free
right.
service.
I mean, you can't blame them. I mean,
I have no problem with that. I mean, it's annoying. If I have a problem, I'll use something else, but it's a free service.
says dozens of reports on Twitter show the change just in the past 2 days, last week. Though we haven't been able to replicate it in our own inbox. Some users also report seeing more ads in general instead of the 2 that Google would typically show. There doesn't appear to be any new settings to change the placement of ads in the inbox
Oh, there
lists.
is.
Okay, they
It's
said that
called an
the
ad blocker.
oh,
Use it.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't see any ads in my Gmail because I have ad blocker. I see them on my
Exactly.
mobile because my mobile, even though I have ad blocker, it still shows it. But
If you have
What
problems with that, use an ad blocker.
how are you seeing that on mobile? Using the Gmail app?
yeah.
Okay. So if you use
Or
the
yeah.
Safari app, it should they can't inject ads into it.
No, yeah, I'm using the Gmail app because
Okay.
I also use it for authentication or whatever.
Gotcha.
How many of you guys use, Temu?
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Use what?
Temu.
Temu.
It's basic if this is the same company, it's basically Amazon Chinese Amazon.
Right,
And I
No.
have been getting bombarded with ads for
right.
Timo, whatever, like ridiculous.
Yep.
The first time I saw it was on TikTok maybe 2 weeks ago, where I'm sure they paid influencers to like talk about how they got something off of Timu. It's Temu, right?
Yeah.
That's how you spell it. And so that was the first time I saw it, and now it's everywhere. I'm seeing it on Google Ads. I'm getting there. I got a scam. I think it's a scam of email where it said if you sign up for Temu through and with Amazon or Steam, you get a $100 Steam gift card or something. And that sounded like a scam, so of course I deleted it. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, but, I mean, I've been buying certain things from them for the last 4 or 5 months, and there are some things that are really great.
Yeah.
They always try to get you to use the app.
Yep.
I do it on my computer. Yesterday, we were sitting outside. I was on the phone, and I saw an email from them about 199 everything, whatever. And using Brave on the phone, every time I switched from one item to another, they have some kind of a Wheel of Fortune thing that
Yeah.
you spin and you get
For like
so
a
much
discount.
money between each and every item. It would bring that up and show you what you won and said, now sign in with the app. I mean, after about 4 or 5 changes, I said, forget it. This is unusable.
Yep.
No, I'm not going to do this. And I don't know if they're doing it just in order to entice you to go into the app, which I guess they're getting. And again, I'm
Of course they are.
now. Why would they get more out of the app that they're getting,
Because notifications.
which
Because
is
of
Push
notifications.
notifications. It's 100%. Yeah.
They
And
can push, like on any interaction with your phone, a new
yeah,
notification, basically. So
And not only that, this is an interesting stat. More people, and kind of like a duh thing, but more people have phones than they do computers. So, in a household, you maybe have one computer, right?
yeah.
But everybody has a phone. So that user base is like like you're multiplying it, quadrupling it, the amount of
That's
people that
true.
have
Yeah,
access to your website.
yeah, true. Interesting. Yeah, but this. I mean, I just said, okay, no more signing, no more going to look at things on Temu through the phone.
Also, I think too that their stuff is so cheap on there. I'm talking like $1 for
Yeah,
something that you would spend $20 on Amazon. So it might be like Wish where it's probably hit or miss, but they've got to make up that money somehow. And a lot of companies that offer cheap product or cheap
and
solutions,
it's
they
free
get your user
shipping.
data. Yeah, I don't know how they stay in business. My guess is that they're grabbing up all of this user data and selling it to whoever.
To TikTok.
Yeah, to TikTok. They're spending millions of dollars on TikTok ads.
No, but there are certain things that are really nice. I mean, connectors and okay, what else did I get? I got And every time I go, when I said, okay, yeah, that's a good deal and I need this, I'll go to Amazon and see. I'll go to the local stores. Like I needed a strap wrench. It's the wrench that you use that has a strap and you tighten with a strap. So it was, I believe it was $2.99. So I went and searched on eBay, on Amazon, on Home Depot, on Lowe's, and they were all over $10. And one of them was exactly the same thing, and it was over $10. I said, okay, that's a no-brainer. But there are things that you might as well buy from them,
Mhm.
because they are way, way cheaper. And it is a Chinese. I mean, the company said that they are in Michigan,
Yeah, maybe
but
they signed their domain up in
I guess
Michigan
I
for
don't know.
tax breaks or something.
But it's definitely stuff from China. Yep.
You know the story about why Amazon is located in Washington.
No, I don't.
So Bezos, he knew that what he was building was an everything store, something that will sell to the entire United States and later the world, right?
Mhm.
That was his goal. He started with books, but it was always supposed to be more than books. He
Okay.
chose the state with the least amount of with the smallest population per something. Like he wanted to make sure that if he's going to pay taxes, local taxes on something, right, and he's going to sell in volume, right, then he's going to choose the place where is going to be the least expensive for him to run the business.
Well, a lot of companies do that. They try to find somewhere where the
Right.
taxes are lower.
But because this is so, most tech companies, right, they're incorporated in Delaware because of the laws there and because of the tax bracket that they can be in and all that, right?
Yeah.
uh, but this is another consumer product shipping company. So I wonder why they chose Michigan. I wonder uh, the what is the selling point of Michigan for this company.
Uh, I don't know.
I also too in this, and you see this more in the entertainment industry, or at least that's what I'm familiar with, is that cities and states will give a ton of tax breaks to these companies to drum up uh employment opportunities and stuff like that. So that's why like 10 years ago, like Pixar and Disney and a lot of the big entertainment companies opened up studios in Vancouver, Canada, which was
Yep.
like really random, but they were like, "Hey, we'll give you this free building to work in if you come up here." And then I guess the tax breaks were over and they all moved out. So it's
Something
not
like
like
that, yeah.
anything new.
Yeah. It's yeah, yeah, I mean, at least look into it if you see what's there, because you may say, "Oh, well, I always wanted this, and this is cheap." Oh,
But open it with
uh,
the with an ad blocker.
oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't realize that I have one running in it, because I always wonder why I'm not seeing ads, and it's because I installed a long time ago, and I don't know if you set up something in Firefox for me that also.
I mean, I probably told you you install this and this and this the first time
Yeah,
you use it. But yeah,
yeah, and it's
you block
great.
Origin. I
It's
can't live without it. It's like,
perfect. Yeah.
yeah. I actually
Same.
I actually changed. I am now using Ad Nauseum, which is basically you block Origin, but uh it tricks it tricks the tracking mechanism. It creates background noise for them, so they don't really track other aspects of you as well. So
Hmm, okay. Um, I mean, I'm not really a Discord user, but you guys are. So Discord is making big changes.
yep, usernames.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't understand what that I mean, is this let me read part
It-
of it.
it-
Discord is
it-
making big changes to how identities work on the platform, a move that will force you to change your username. Up until now, the company has appended 4-digit tags to identities as a way to distinguish people with the same username. However, the new system will give everyone a unique username, much like Twitter, Instagram, and other services. The whole point of these changes is that we want to make it a lot easier for you and all the new users coming to Discord to connect and hang out with friends. So, for instance, Nick, what's your username?
My username is Nick C and then a pound sign and then some numbers.
And you did not put the numbers; they add the number.
It's automatically generated, correct.
Yeah.
This is very common. This is very common.
I actually appreciated what they did
Yeah, so did
at
I.
the beginning because it allows you to use a username that maybe somebody else is using.
Correct.
So there is no more such a okay. Choose a username. Oh, this is already taken.
Well, no, there wasn't. Now there will be, I guess. I don't know
Yeah.
how it's gonna work.
Right. That's the thing. I mean, this sort of like reminds me of the early days of the internet where you had when you have a username or an email address with a provider and that's it. You hog it. Nobody else can have that because it was a system.
I don't
Use
Yeah, but
it.
that's
understand why
already
they're
done.
why are they changing it? Like, what's the advantage to going to single use usernames?
I don't know how it's
I'm
gonna make it.
guessing they used to have criticism of this, right? Because theoretically, if there's a well-known gamer using a specific tag, uh, and now you can create that same tag, you'll get a different number, right?
Oh,
And so the identity can be murked up, especially if the numbers seem similar or something like that. So I'm guessing that's what's driving it. But yes, it's going to create real estate value to the names once more.
but that's gonna be a mess.
It's
No, it's
sort of a
not.
mess. A lot of people are going to be pissed off. Some of the people, I am guessing, are just going to preserve exactly the name with the number they already have, right? Just so it won't change.
That's what I'm gonna do. I have no
Yeah.
reason to change it.
I I I'm pretty sure, right? I'm pretty sure my name won't show up because I know I use because of the different spelling. I've never encountered anybody else using my name. So yeah, I might be able to drop the number, but I am not important, right?
So
Doesn't really
Not with
matter.
that attitude, you're
yeah,
not.
no, Gal, you're special.
Oh,
Special,
Wait,
yes, not important.
yeah. I have a question though. So how does it determine who gets the name? Is it who put it in
Oh,
first?
they said it's by like if you joined by the date you joined Discord. So basically, the earlier you join Discord, the earlier you'll get the option to change your
Okay,
username.
I guess that makes sense.
It makes sense, but it's like it sounds like a hassle to them. I'm not sure what is the real benefit here because it means changing usernames, basically, right? Changing usernames in any system is a big mess. So good luck for them.
hmm. Well, I guess we'll
Next,
wait
they'll
and see.
start charging for a purple tack, right? A V check mark.
Uh huh.
Here we go. This is directly from their blog. And it's in bold. The biggest problem, our current usernames can often be too complicated or obscure for people to remember and share easily. So the problem you're running into is, and I've had the same issue before too, is somebody's like, well, what's your Discord name? I want to add you on Discord. And it's like, well, shit, I don't know. I mean, I got to
Yeah.
go and pull up whatever my username is. Unlike, hey, follow me on Twitter. I can give up my Twitter account. That's pretty clear. Um, So for they just say that the names have just become too complicated. Um, so they're dumping it.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
so now it doesn't say that says they'll start doing it in the next few weeks. Um, so it'll just pop up on your account. So
Well, I
I
guess
joined
we'll wait
November
and
of
see.
2015, about 2.5 months after it started. So I wonder if I'll get my name.
Does it
Time will
say
tell.
when you joined? When
It
you
does, yeah. If you
look at
click
the
on your little,
account?
yeah, if you click on your
I
little icon at the bottom.
wonder how.
No, I gotta check.
Amnon joined in November of 2017. Gal joined in 2018.
I joined in
Ooh,
2016.
You joined 2016. Bunch of
oh,
bunch of
that I joined that late.
bunch of posers over here. I'm the OG of the old
Oh
the
no,
old
for sure.
Discord.
I wonder my kid. He joined 2017. That's probably when I learned about it.
Yeah.
And me, yeah, December 2017.
And probably the only reason Amnon joined in 2017 is because Nick
Is
told
Nick,
him. Nick told
of
him to.
course.
Absolutely. Yeah. After months of trying to convince him it was not a scam, Amnon finally joined Discord.
Yeah, 3 weeks after my kid. That's when I joined.
There you go. I tell you what, man. I was chatting with Mike this week. We were
Mhm.
talking about Discord, and I was trying to. It's so hard to explain to people because it really is everything. It's the mixture of internet forms, voice over IP like Ventrilo, Mumble, or TeamSpeak. The chat is similar to what Skype used to be. I mean, it really does encompass so many different programs all into one. It's just the catch-all for literally everything,
Mm.
for a community.
But
It's pretty amazing.
yeah, the what I mean, there are a lot of catch-alls, right? The difference with Discord is they actually did a very decent job uh, uh, in clumping all of that together. So
Very true.
yes, it is. Yeah, it is. It is one of the more interesting communication platforms out there. But it's a platform.
It is, yeah.
It's as easy to use as the community who runs it makes it, right? So it can be confusing and it can be convenient. It can be everything, uh, and it's based on how the community who runs their own server works. And I mean, the term server is a bit misleading because it's not really a separate server, but it's like a different community. And yes, it's very very it's a very very good platform if you can find the people to interact with on it. Definitely you should prefer this over a lot of others. This is for no way it's no for not this is definitely not something for personal communication. That I would go with the more encrypted ones, those who are a privacy concerned. But for public communication, for forums, for sharing thoughts, for communicating with groups very efficiently, including automation of communication with groups, that's the number one platform for sure.
Yeah, and if you're ever looking to read about leaks, about what your military is doing, you can go there.
Yeah, but
Read.
you can do that also by opening a WordPress site and
Yeah,
publishing everything.
yeah,
It's about where the people are,
yeah.
right? And
No, just
and
kidding.
the look, the good and the bad with Discord, right? Is if you manage your Discord incorrectly, then it's the most noisiest place in the world. But if you keep almost everything muted except the topics or the channels or whatever that you want to interact with on a daily basis, then you can get everything from the important stuff to the general stuff all accessible there, right? So it's a catch-all, but it also requires some skill to manage it. And you get to that skill the moment you start following more than one or two communities, right? So
It
yeah,
Discord is an amazing tool and I love it, but the UI and UX of it is hot garbage. Like for somebody to just come into it that hasn't used something kind of similar to it is very confusing, and you need somebody to walk you through it. But it it is it is something you have to learn how to use if you have like zero experience with it. But it's an excellent tool for what it is. But like you said, when I first started, the reason I waited so long to use it is because at the time there were alternatives that were easier. Doesn't mean that they were better, but they were easier. And then eventually I got to the point where I was limited at the tools I was using, and then I switched over to Discord. Now those tools don't even exist anymore. But there's a lot that it can be improved on, but it is a good tool.
By the way, Slack, right, which has a very, very similar structure.
Yes.
Slack started as a project for communicating for a specific game. The developers, they were building a game and they were also building the communication system within that game. And that's how Slack started. Discord basically says, okay, I want this, but for all my games. And
Yeah.
that's how Discord started, right? It's like they took that same idea and they said, okay, gamers can benefit from this, right? This was an excellent idea for that game, but that game never came into existence and it instead became this business app. Discord says, I want that business app, but for all my games, right? And that's basically what happened here. And
That makes a lot of
today,
sense.
when you look at those two systems, right, they're pretty much in terms of the feature set. There's a lot in common. It's just this is addressing a different type of audience than this, right? And I would dare to say that if you integrate some of the business apps that are integrated into Slack, if you integrate it into Discord, Discord is probably the best business app out there,
Mhm.
right? It's just it's not because it's not geared to enterprise, then you don't get perfect Office integration or Google Docs integration, but you get a lot of other stuff. So yeah, it's what Google Wave wanted to create back in 2000, what 12 was it? Something like that. So
It's funny you say that because I'm using Slack for the first time at my new job, and I was like, "This is just a pulled back Discord." Like, but Slack, it's funny because I'm using Slack and I'm like, "Why don't we just use Discord if this is what people are using?" Because it's okay for what it is, but there's some other things that are really frustrating that Discord does better. Like, for instance, with Slack, and maybe it's just user error, but, like, in in Discord, if you reply to somebody, it, like, quotes them, and so it quotes um, the original text box or whatever, so puts it there, and it puts as your response underneath it, and then it tags the other person so you know that somebody replied to your thing. In Slack, it to reply to somebody, it starts a new text form chain somewhere else, and I wasn't getting notifications for it. So I had to actively be checking my Slack to see if somebody replied to something from work, and then it doesn't quote you or doesn't pull back or pull it out forward so that you could review what people were even responding to. So that's kind of frustrating. And with
I'm
Slack,
guessing I'm guessing you guys are not using Slack correctly because there are threads and you can reply in threads.
well, here's that. So that's what. There's like 10 of us, right? In one whatever chat thing. And
Yes.
so when we need something for review, we'll post it, and or we'll post a status update or whatever, and then that will get lost in the thread. So if somebody wants to respond to it, they usually you just hit reply, but it creates a new thread for that
Right.
instead of just posting it into the chat.
Right. But think about, so this actually is also true for Discord and for other mass communication tools, right? Is you need a way of sifting through the noise. So you need to categorize different type of noises, basically, right? Big different type of signals. So if you have one chat where everybody's talking about one topic, um, that even if you're all talking about that topic, there are different aspects of that topic that might require continuation uh, of the conversation. So if I wanted to notify everyone, hey, I got a change in, and you, Katie, says, okay, I'm on it. This this creates now a conversation between you and me. So you reply in the thread, and all of the updates in the thread are only notified for me and you. The rest will be silent unless they start participating in the thread. So they
Mhm.
can just they can just answer follow, for example, right? And they'll start following, and they'll get notifications. Another thing is, if even everything in the thread needs to be notified to everyone, tag it as here, because then everybody in the thread is also tagged in here, and they're a participant in the thread.
Mm.
So
I guess in this
there's a lot of
instance,
it's all about managing a signal to noise, right? What is important, what is not important, how do I track what I need?
yeah, yeah.
Slack isn't
In that
perfect. It's
instance, it sounds good.
yeah.
I guess where the part where I got frustrated is that it wasn't tagging me in replies, and so I didn't realize people were responding to me, and I didn't see it in the main thread, or in the main
No, if you
chat.
wrote it and they're replying to you, it should alert
Well
you.
well, I guess it was a bug. I found a bug because I wasn't getting notifications, and it was, like, a few hours later, I'm like, "Hey, did you guys see this?" And you're like, "Yeah, we responded when you posted it." And I was like, "Oh," and then I looked, and there was, like, a little reply thread, and I opened it up, and it was the response, so I didn't get a notification.
So
Hmm.
one tip that I can give
Huh.
you with Slack specifically, and this is the end, it's just close the client, or make your park yourself on unreads. Because if your cursor is on a thread, for example, or something, then it thinks you read it.
Mm.
That's what I found. That's it.
All right, Nick, you ready for specials?
Yes.
All right.
The um the great browser wars. You know, you look at all these different options for browsers, right? You've got Chrome, Brave, Edge, Opera, the other Opera, some other ridiculous browser, and then you put your glasses on, you realize they're just all freaking Chromium, and then there's Firefox. I mean, they're pretty much all the
Well,
same.
Firefox is Chromium as well.
So then there you go. So they're all the back end, they're really the same thing. They just all look a little bit different. All right, thought that was pretty funny. All right, let's get into it. Specials. Start off with a laptop here. This is an 11th gen, so this is a last gen computer in terms of its processor, but I still think overall this is a pretty good deal. This is a Lenovo 14-inch laptop, so this is a little bit larger. It's got a full numpad built into it. It's their IdeaPad 3, and it's got the i5 1135 G7. That's a 2.4 gigahertz processor, 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, the built-in Iris graphics that come with the 11th gen Intel chips, uh, 512 gigabyte SSD. I have a similar computer to this. I have the IdeaPad 3 with the 12th gen processor in it, which I've been very happy with. I have an older Lenovo IdeaPad 1 that has got a 8th or 9th gen processor in it. So, been very happy with my Lenovo laptops. This is normally $500. It's on sale over at Micro Center, which obviously we don't have locally, but you can have them shipped to you. So you can check it out for just $299, save $200 there. Another Lenovo deal. This one is a what they call their Idea Center. This is it's not their enterprise. I call it their workstation line of computers. You'll find these in engineering offices and people that run CAD and things like that. It's not a business class machine, but it's a workstation. So this is their 5i. They're calling it a gaming desktop. It's not the Legion, which is their actual gaming brand. So it's kind of weird, but the specs add up pretty good here. This has got an i5 12400 as the processor, so a nice processor on it. 16 gigabytes of DDR4 memory, so it's not DDR5, but it does come with an RTX 3060, which is a really powerful graphics card for this price. This thing is $700. Um, I don't know how it's at such a deep discount, but it is. So comes with 2 hard drives, a 1 terabyte spinning drive that you could put games and stuff on, and then a 512 gigabyte SSD. So this thing is quite the machine for the price. And it's available at Ant Online, which you guys, Amnon, did you ever remember hearing of Atlanta Network Technologies?
No.
They've been around since like the 90s. They've been a computer seller in a kind of a
Hmm.
regional computer company in Atlanta since the 90s. So they seem to be a pretty reputable brand. I'll note one thing with these, similar to a Dell computer of this caliber. Um, this is not the most uh, modular system. It's likely has a substandard power supply. The motherboard is likely proprietary, so you're not. This is not like, oh, I'll just upgrade all these components. It's probably easier said than done. So just be advised when you're buying a machine of this caliber.
Yeah, that's why the discount, I'm guessing. Look at the RAM. It can maximally be 32 and there's just 2 slots, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the reason it's discounted because machines like these today would want more power.
Tell you what, though, for a gaming PC,
Oh yeah,
this is a hell of a deal for $700.
agreed.
I mean, I was almost tempted to buy it just for the GPU, and then turn the rest of it into my new home server. So that's available over at Ant Online, free shipping on that. Um, Next up, GPUs. It is becoming a much more competitive market. This is the AMD Radeon RX 6600. This is a gigabyte card, so they're the ones that are building it. It's AMD's graphics card, but Gigabyte is the OEM on, Gigabyte is the one that's actually manufacturing the card here. This is normally $260, and it is on sale for $199. This is a very much a middle upper tier GPU in terms of supplies, in terms of capacity. It's got 2 HDMI and 2 display ports. So if you're powering a high refresh rate monitor, you can do that via display port and you'll be good to go on that. It's got 8 gigabytes of built in memory, and it supports a maximum resolution of 7680 by 4320. So it supports a 4K display output for
Hmm.
that. So
How
it's a
how does this compare to an RTX 3060?
I can do a compare. I'll do one after specials. Just
Okay,
there's a
I'll do it while you talk.
yeah, do that. I think this is probably a little bit lower would be my guess. But the it's probably on par with the 3060 would be my guess. So God will
So
get back
AMD
to
has
us.
caught up on Nvidia.
Yeah, especially because the 3060 is way priced out of its performance. It just doesn't make sense for the card. At least in my opinion. The AMD just seems to have the better offering right now. I won't buy an AMD card just because I have had bad experiences with them in the past. But Intel or Nvidia is really boxing themselves out of their own market, which is incredibly disappointing. Next up, Fire TV. This is an actual Fire TV. This is not anybody else's television with well, I mean it is, but it's not this is a Fire TV branded TV. I think maybe TCL is making these, somebody like that, but this is the Amazon brand one. This is a 43-inch 4K UHD smart television. As you can imagine, it's got the Fire TV OS built right into it. In terms of ports on it, pretty standard with what you find at these very entry level televisions. Ethernet, 4 HDMI, one of them supporting ARC for audio back and forth between a soundbar. Got an antenna connection for hooking up an over the air antenna. Plus, it's got a USB port. It's got an IR emitter, which is kind of interesting. So you can hook up an IR transceiver to it outside of the one that's built in. Plus, it's got a headphone jack and optical audio out for connecting it to a surround system or something else. $209 directly from Amazon. They're also, you can get these in store at Best Buy, but they're like $30 or $40 more. So you might, if you need it today, you can get it. It'll just cost you a couple of extra bucks. If not, Amazon will get it to your house in 3 to 5 business days or whatever prime shipping actually means nowadays. So check that out over at Amazon. Next up, Arlo. Everybody seems to really like Arlo. They are incredibly popular. I know Spence uses a lot of Arlo products. I will admit I've never used one, but they're pretty much they're one of the standards in this industry. They've got a 3-pack here of 1080p spotlight cameras. These are their wireless security cameras, no hub needed. These things individually connect to Wi-Fi themselves. They connect with A Word and the Google systems and all of that other stuff. And if you already have the Arlo infrastructure, you're very familiar with their app and their ecosystem. Normally, a 3-pack of these systems, because these are pretty high-end cameras, will run you close to $350. So you can get 3 cameras for a buck 99, which I think is a pretty good deal for a couple of outdoor IP12, I think, water resistant cameras. So these are pretty good. Arlo, very reputable brand. If you're in the ecosystem, you know what's going on. If not, do a little bit of research and figure out what you're looking for and what best fits your needs. But that's available in black or white. Cameras available over at Amazon, so you can mix and match based on the color of your house and or wherever you're putting this thing. Next up is an Element. This is a monitor from Element available over at Office Depot, Office Max, both in store and online. This is a 24-inch 1080p IPS monitor. This is a pretty bog standard monitor. I would not buy it for gaming or anything like that. It's a regular 60 hertz refresh rate and it's locked at 1080p. So wouldn't buy it for that, but for business or anything of that nature, it's a pretty good deal on a nice large monitor. This normally runs $170. It is $40 off. You can get it for $129 available over at Office Depot, Office Max. All right, disclaimer. The next device is manufacturer recertified. I would not buy this and use it to store your most sensitive personal information unless you have at least 2 other backups. However, if you're somebody that is maybe ripping a bunch of DVDs that you legally possess and are not pirating off the internet, and you need a place to store those, I think this is a perfectly fine device for this. This is a Seagate Xeos Xeos X18 12 terabyte SATA drive. So it's certified, recertified by Seagate themselves. So this likely came out of a server that somebody returned or a server upgrade program that businesses are in. And these are more than fine drives. They run through all of the certification and they're just at really, really deep discounts. This device new will cost you about $500 or $600. These are very expensive drives. These are business server class drives, and you can get it for $104 from serverpartdeals.com. We've had stuff on there from them in the past. They're a very reputable brand. So manufacturer recertified. Again, I don't think I would put my life savings on it. But for storage with a backup, I think you're totally fine. And those are $100 available, $104, I should say, available from them. Next up, there's I don't really know about this product. It's got good reviews, I'll say that. And it's an Amazon choice. It's got 4.7 stars out of 7,500 reviews. So it's not a total piece of garbage. However, it's cheap. And you always have to be mindful when something is cheap. This is a 63-inch long sit stand desk that is from a company called Vitesse. Vitesse, I believe is how it's pronounced. It comes with a couple of different things that I thought were interesting. First of all, it comes with a cup holder built in, which is pretty sick. And then on the other side, it's got a headphone, a little U arm for a headphone built in as well. So it comes with a couple of cool little accessories like that. This is just a regular sit stand desk. With with a couple of other things associated with it. It's normally little over $200 and it is on sale for $109. We had a similar one that was a little bit smaller in dimensions on sale last week. So just be advised of that. But yeah, pretty cool looking device available over at Amazon. So check that out. All right, next up, is I'm cheating on JBL. I've been a big fan of JBL speakers. I've continued to recommend JBL speakers. I continue to use them, but I thought this was a pretty good deal. And Philips is a very reputable brand. This is their S3505 wireless Bluetooth speaker. The one thing that made this at least interesting from my vantage point is it has a micro. This one actually has a microphone built into it, so you could presumably use this to take a phone call or do a video chat or something like that. Most speakers don't have microphones, so that when a when you're listening to music and a call comes in, you can't answer it on the speaker because there's no microphone for it. However, this one has this. It is IP7 waterproof. So this is meant. It even says shower ready is part of the item description. So this thing is meant to be around the pool, in the bathroom, next to the shower. I don't know that I'd bring it to the beach because it does look like it has some little crevices that sand could get into. The nice thing about the JBL speaker, the Charge, is that it's all rubber and it's meant to be kind of tossed around. Nevertheless, for $19, I don't know how you could pass this thing up. It boasts 10-hour battery life, which isn't great, I'll note, for a speaker like of this size, but it's not that big. The picture's a little bit misleading. This is not the largest thing in the world, but for 20 bucks, it's a pretty good deal available from Woot. So this is an Amazon wholesale deal that's coming through. A couple of other products this morning. If you're in the marketplace for a multifunction printer, Canon has an image class that is on sale over at Amazon. It's normally a $400 printer. This is what I would call a lower tier business printer. So it's not as big as a massive multifunction copier, but it's a little bit bigger than most businesses need. So it's somewhere right there in the middle. Um, Obviously, it does scanning and copying and all of that. It is a laser, which is nice. So you're not going to have to worry about miserable inkjet stuff with that. Does 22 pages per minute according to the spec sheet on it. So it's not super fast either. But it does everything you would expect from a multifunction business printer for $279. That's 30% off, available over at Amazon. And then two final products this morning. This is the Logitech MK470 wireless keyboard and mouse combo. Before you buy this, please look at the mouse. It is a flat mouse. And for some people, ergonomically, that is not going to work. Other people, they might think that's fine. I have a flat mouse that I use when I travel. I'm okay with a flat mouse. I can use that. When I'm home, I like a mouse that fits my hand a little bit better. So just make sure you look at that before you buy it. But this is a pretty good deal for a mouse and keyboard. It boasts a 36-month battery on the keyboard and 18 months on the mouse. That's the longevity of this thing from Logitech. It's normally $50. It's 40% off, on sale for $30, available over at Amazon. And then finally, I thought this was perfect for Amnon. This is the Casio Men's AE120 HWH1A Amnon. And this is a digital multifunction watch. So 10-year battery life built in. It'll tell you, it's got 5 alarms on it. So you can set all of your different alarms for your various activities that you do throughout the day. It's got a compass built into it. That'll tell you your time zone and your region. This is quintessential 80s and early 90s, available for just $20 over at Amazon. Normally a $30 product. So there you go. You can check out the Casio men's watch with world time and a 10-year battery life, available over there.
Uh-huh. I
What do
need
you mean,
I need something with bigger digits.
Okay. Well, you can't fit the global map to
Yeah,
figure out where
I
you
know,
are
I know.
without I almost bought one of these just because I'm a jackass and I thought it would be cool to have, but I realized I didn't need it. But I mean, it looks cool. I've never had one. I know
Yeah.
these were all the rage, but I never had one of these things.
Yeah, and
Plus,
they
I have
used
an
to be
Apple Watch.
expensive.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, MSRP $30 is not cheap.
And
I mean, you can
Casio
get
is a
cheap.
good make.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm I'm one, and I this is a Casio watch, but I'm wondering if they are not at this point for these products, if they're not completely OEM'd out to somebody else. I doubt they're building these.
No, I think they make their own chips. It's like,
Really?
uh,
I wonder if they still are though.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not know.
Were you able to do that comparison on the Gigabyte card?
Yeah, so it looks like on par, it's the same performance or even a bit better than the 3050,
Wow.
Okay.
and it's a bit cheaper than the 3050.
Yes.
So, yeah, performance-wise, the 3060 is like 15-20% better. Uh, the site I was looking at, the ranking for 3050 was 100%, and the AMD one was 85%, but the 3050 was 78%, right? So, yeah. So it looks like it's a good deal. It's in par with the 3050, which is an excellent card, right? On its own, the 3060, it's getting closer to it, and it's like half price. MSRP wise, it's half price, and with that machine, uh, $700 is phenomenal for getting the bang for the buck on it. So
I'll say this, something that's important to note. The AMD cards, the RX series, they are continually making large driver updates because these things are not these metrics are not static. They shift over time. And AMD over their last couple of big driver updates have really boosted some of these cards. So it will come closer and closer to the 3060 over time as AMD works on their graphics or works on their
right,
drivers,
because
which is really cool.
because they have the developers and Microsoft work closely with Nvidia before they
Yes.
ship theirs, and AMD usually because they're small, they need to catch up. So yeah, you're right.
So something to be, it's I don't know if did I mention this a couple weeks ago? I had like 15 minutes to kill before a meeting and I went into Best Buy and they had a whole bunch of GPUs on the shelf. I wouldn't have bought any of them because they were too expensive, but they had a whole bunch of uh 6000 series AMDs and some um 3000 series Nvidia cards on the shelf, which I was very surprised with. So the supply actually here's the picture. I just found it. Did I already do this?
Nope, that I recall.
Um, screen capture is not working. Let's do this real quick. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to see that it appears, at least for
So
now,
the
the
the the supply is there. The prices are still
yeah. So, just pricing wise here, this you had a 3050, which I think is, think that would be that's probably 289 would be my guess, and then you had a couple of 3060 Ti's that are in the mid fours. You had a 1660 Super, which is kind of an older card, but not the worst thing. Then you had the big boys, the 3080 Ti for $600, a couple of regular 3060s, some 3050s, another 1650, um, some AMD cards up top. I was just surprised they had this much in store.
hmm,
Normally Best Buy doesn't have anything in stock, and the fact that they had a handful of these GPUs with quite some selection variety. I mean, you're talking about in terms of different SKUs, two, two, three, four, five, six, seven different SKUs of different 3000 series or 1600 series GPUs. I thought that was something interesting to note. So that's my
noise.
didn't buy anything. Was tempted, but I didn't.
I'll give it a little more time.
Yeah, well, I mean, the honest to God reason is I still have yet to have it affect. There's nothing new that's come out in terms of a game that has pushed me to need to upgrade. I'm rapidly approaching that, but it hasn't happened yet. So until it does,
I thought the reason was that you didn't get Amnon's check yet.
I mean, that is also true. Um, but yeah, until something pushes me over the
He
edge.
didn't send me an invoice. Yeah.
Yeah, I know I didn't. I said I'd send you one, and that was last night. I've been slaving over your stupid specials for hours.
All right, listen to this now. You were showing the in the top of the specials the different browsers.
Yes.
Microsoft has now started notifying IT admins that it will force Outlook and Teams to ignore the default web browser on Windows and open links in Microsoft Edge instead.
Oh boy.
Mm.
Reddit users have posted messages from the Microsoft 365 Admin Center that reveal how Microsoft is going to roll out this change. Web links from Azure Active Directory accounts and Microsoft accounts in the Outlook for Windows app will open in Microsoft Edge in a single view, showing the opened link side by side with the email it came from. This is message. That's what a message from an IT admin from Microsoft read. While this won't affect the default browser settings in Windows, it's yet another part of Microsoft 365 and Windows that totally ignores your default browser choice for links.
Yeah.
Microsoft already does this with the widget system in Windows 11 and even the search experience, where you'll be forced into Edge if you click a link, even if you have another browser set as default.
Yep.
Ah,
Another reason to stop using it.
well,
Now we'll
I don't
start
use
seeing.
Outlook and I don't use
I think
Teams.
what we'll see now is a lot of remove Edge apps pop up. A way to
This
completely remove Edge from the system.
I didn't think you could.
Ah, you know, when it comes to bundling stuff, there has already been ruling in the past, right, of the way Microsoft
Yeah.
bundles their own shit. So I'm guessing it's not easy, but it's possible.
this isn't to me, this isn't but as big of an issue for home users as business where this
Right.
stuff is being forced. I mean, at home, at home, there's a registry editor, some, as you mentioned, Gal, some program that will just redirect the redirect and open up your default browser. But in a work environment, um, it's interesting though. So like so we use Microsoft, but I use everything on the web. So I don't think that's going to be affected by this. I think
No, it
this is
won't.
only the physical apps.
Well,
My
actually,
instance doesn't give me the option to use it's an E3 license or something. It's web only, which is fine. I don't need the actual copies, but
right, but uh, it can still do that theoretically. So if they change the URL instead of HTTPS to be Edge
Edge,
HTTPS or something like
yeah.
that, right? They can force the OS to look for that protocol handler. But I guess they won't do that. That would
No,
be
that's a
too
disaster.
obtrusive. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Another attempt to squeeze the consumer, in this type in this case the enterprise consumer, but squeeze another cent out of them. Yeah.
you know what's going to happen if you remove Edge
You'll go to
when
prison. It's like ripping the mattress tag off. It's a felony.
no, it's worse than that.
Oh, it's worse than that. Wow.
When you try to open a link from within Outlook or Teams, it's going to take forever to reinstall Edge. They're go-
Yeah, background install. Bastards.
Oh, you're missing a critical software. Let me install that for you.
Yep, that's
Yep.
exactly it. Yep,
Yeah.
Ah.
yep. All right, and ChatGPT. We didn't talk about ChatGPT in a long time.
What's that?
So, so Facebook said on Wednesday it had uncovered malware purveyors leveraging public interest in ChatGPT to lure users into downloading malicious apps and browser extensions, likening the phenomenon to cryptocurrency scams. Since March, the social media giant has found around 10 malware families and more than 1,000 malicious links that were promoted as tools featuring the popular artificial intelligence powered chatbot. In some cases, the malware delivered working ChatGPT functionality alongside abusive files. So they're beginning to take advantage uh, of the
So
popularity. It's the same thing about
there's they're saying the what was pushed is, hey, you can get ChatGPT functionality, download this,
Yep,
run this.
yep,
Okay, I
yep,
see.
yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, I mean, when you think about it, the amount of talk. I mean, we've talked about it here tons, and we sort of somewhat understand some of the setup behind it, and but the way news outlets have been talking about it, and people hearing about it, then yeah, they get an ad of you can use it too, thinking there's some magic around using it, right? Because of the way it's discussed, I can understand that being a target.
Yeah,
What I don't, what I find strange though is you said Facebook. Uh, uh, Facebook is the one reporting
yeah,
this,
yep.
and they're reporting this only now after months of such malicious stuff hanging out on their platform, right? That's my problem.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
yep.
They have a tendency of falling down, slipping on their watch, right? Like, oh, this happened on our. We're so sorry, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. All right. Um, which password vault are you using? God.
I'm using Vault Warden
How
with
about
Bitwarden clients.
okay? How about Nick?
Whatever Gal's system is.
Oh,
I'm
oh.
freeloading big time on Gal's password system.
So
It's funny.
Google,
Every month I log into my
Reloading.
bank account
He
and there's a transaction. It just says, Gal tax. So I guess he's using my passwords to go in and start a
Katie,
transaction.
Katie, you're not
I don't
using
have
any.
access to that,
Do
so I
you?
No,
don't
I
know.
don't use anything.
Okay. So Google is taking a big step toward our supposedly passwordless future
Oh.
by enabling Passkey only Google account. In the blog post titled The Beginning of the End of the Password, Google says we've begun rolling out support for passkeys across Google accounts on all major platforms. There will be an additional option that people can use to sign in alongside passwords, two-step verification, etc. Previously, you've been able to use a passkey with Google accounts as part of a two-factor authentication, but that was always in addition to a password. Now it's possible to use a Google account with a passkey instead of a password. So, Gal, comment.
I need to see exactly what they're talking about. If they're talking about, uh, so what they've been doing on Android for a while, they've been they've been incorporating the same chips as these hardware password keys,
Okay.
secret USBs. FIDO standard, and the chips are. This is a bit like the TPM2 when we talk about Windows
Hmm.
11. So the chips are already in the phone. So theoretically, cryptographically creating the secret handshake and the protocols and all that are incorporated in the phones. So I am guessing that what they're talking about, and this is me guessing, I have not read the entire article and I'm not sure about the specifics, but I am guessing they are going to make either your phone or a physical key that you buy uh, a way to unlock access to the account. And by doing that, also getting the account itself to authenticate to any other service who can accept a passkey.
Okay.
Um, it's fine. It's not that I have an issue with it. My issue is that it's being offered through the Google services, right? I know that for one, I won't use it. I might use it to access Google account. I will not use Google's account to access anything else. So just because I do not want a breach to my Google account
Hmm.
to affect that. So this is me personally. Is it better for others? I also do not know. But yeah, it feels like yeah, it's probably time to roll out this technology. In a way, Microsoft has been doing this with Windows for a while. With the Window Hello, what they call Window Hello technology, which is when you log into your Windows account with a Microsoft account, and you can allow local. There are different way of local authentication that does not require online communication to authenticate, right? And that is part of what this is about. This is the passwordless concept, but I don't think the world is ready for passwordless. I wish it was, but well, it's not. Right? It's too risky yet.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how much we hear about it. If we don't hear about it a lot, is actually a good thing because it means the rollout is whatever they're doing is happening. It's eventless. There's no big issues. But my guess is the next time we're going to hear about it, we're going to hear about users being locked out. We're going to hear about uh, at a certain point users tricked in to use this new process, right, by something else, and then basically hijacking the account because we're unfamiliar with it. We do not know how it looks like. Uh, if somebody calls me in and tells me I went through this process, I wouldn't even know to tell them if they went through the legit process or a fake process, right?
Hmm.
So I'm guessing it's going to be a bumpy ride for a while. It'll be interesting later.
Yeah, that's good. That's good info. And back to browsers. Microsoft issued a Windows update that broke a Chrome feature, making it harder to change your default browser and annoying Chrome users with pop ups. This is coming from Gizmodo. An April Windows update broke a button in Chrome that lets you change your default browser with a single click. But the worst was reserved for users on the enterprise version of Windows. For weeks, every time an enterprise user opened Chrome, the Windows default setting page would pop up. There was no way to make it stop unless you uninstalled the operating system update. It forced Google to disable the setting, which had made Chrome more convenient. So I mean, this is not right. This is, I mean, if Microsoft wants to give away Teams and this and that and the other, as an incentive to go with Windows and use these instead of others. And they get questions and investigations from the EU or any other body in the United States. This is where they should be investigated. If they do something and that was malicious, that's what. If it just happened to be, and they can always say, "Oh, it was a mistake." Fine, fix it.
First of all, they'll say it's a mistake
Yeah.
whether it was intentional or not. I actually think it wasn't intentional because I know how software development looks like
All right.
and I know how engineers think. And while it should go through scrutiny and QA and all of that, there is so much that is being missed all the time that I'm pretty sure it is somebody who didn't think all the way through, right? And
Yeah.
maybe there was a malicious party, like a manager who thought, yeah, fuck it, let's do it, right? But most of the time it's just sheer stupidity. Uh, what I do find is Microsoft, they are still tweaking their default application settings, right? They're not done yet. They've made a mess of it in Windows 11, right? When they took off all of the default apps and they returned back to default, marking it by file types, right? It's like they were on the track to doing something correct, and then they said, no, 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 this isn't working, and they went back to the engineer's solution, which was terrible, right? It's like and we're somehow revisiting this again. They
Yeah.
have changed the API of this again. And this is what I find really bizarre. But this is Microsoft. I always call it, they're becoming more and more like Apple. They're trying to close down the options on their OS, right? This is why Edge is so important to them. It's like Safari is important to Apple, right? It's like they're pushing something with all their might, trying to push all of the other options out. And every time they do it, it comes to bite them in the behind. And I guess this will be another one of those.
Yeah. All right.
They're damned if they do, and they're damned if they don't, right?
Yeah, we are too. The New York Police Department and New York City's, and I love how they put it here, self-proclaimed computer geek of a mayor are urging resident car owners to equip their vehicles with an Apple AirTag. During a press
What?
conference, yeah, during a press conference on last Sunday, Mayor Eric Adams announced the distribution of 500 free AirTags to New Yorkers, saying the technology would aid in reducing the city's surging car theft numbers. He held the press conference at the 43rd precinct in the Bronx, where he said there had been 200 instances of grand larceny of autos. An NYPD official said that in New York City, 966 Hyundais and Kias have been stolen this year thus far. So already surpassing 2022's 819. The NYPD Public Crime Statistics Tracker says there have been 4,492 vehicles theft this year, a 13.3% increase compared to the same period last year, and the largest increase among New York City's 7 major crime categories.
Get out. Get out. This is the solution to Grand Theft Auto is Apple AirTags. Are you shitting me? I mean, you talk about, I hate to this, but you talk about shitty democratic policies.
Well,
this is it right here. Crime and vehicle theft are out of
yeah.
control. So
Yep.
we're going to use the taxpayer. We're going to spend $5,000 of taxpayer monies to
Yep.
buy AirTags so people can track their cars when they get stolen.
Yep.
Look,
Maybe maybe we should have stopped. Maybe we shouldn't have gotten rid of bail so that the same people couldn't keep carjacking. Maybe that's a better solution to Apple AirTags. I mean, Anna,
Yep.
will you send me that story? I got a 30 minutes I need to use this kill tomorrow morning. I'll be happy to use that. What a bunch of bullshit. I
You
mean,
want me to send it
unbelievable.
to you, huh?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I think that's great. I mean, that is the
It
quintessential.
is ridiculous. There's
It's
no
the
doubt. I mean,
quintessential. I'm not actually trying to solve the problem. So I just got my arm chopped off, and I'm gonna put a little Hello Kitty bandage on it. I mean, it's a Band-Aid. It's I only chopped my arm off with a chainsaw though, so I'm sure it will stop the bleeding. Oh my
yeah.
god.
okay, so let's unpack this. First of all,
Sure.
as an individual, right? I would recommend this to my neighbor, maybe, right? If you're worried about your car being stolen, yes. The mayor doing that, I agree with Nick. This is completely ridiculous because this also puts, okay, this is the same AirTag, right? That can be tracked even if you're not using anything,
Right.
right?
Correct.
So this is also a tracking device that isn't only for you. So basically, you're saying, okay, let's network this with something that we cannot really trust. And let's not only that, let's make it the approved one, right? So this is basically the most irresponsible recommendation that can be done about this, right? Because now it is very easy for whoever wants to steal a car. He can actually track which car has an AirTag on it before he steals it, right? And they can figure out where that AirTag is, remove it, and the car can still be stolen. Especially if everybody's expecting an AirTag to be inside a car, right?
Hmm.
It's such a bad idea. It's such a yeah. It's a geek solution to a governing problem. Uh, This is beyond bad politics. This is just a bad idea.
I mean, it's a slap in the face. I mean, it's like, hey, we've got crime that's completely out of control. Why is this happening? I don't know, but let's go spend some money with Apple. If more, let's go spend more money. Let's go spend more taxpayer monies with Apple, and they'll have the
Yeah.
solution to our problem.
I
I
mean, I
mean,
mean, to be
wow.
fair, there's a good chance they didn't even spend anything, and Apple gave it to them because for them it's like huge promotion. If you think about it, if you get one, you'll want more if you see any value in it. But still, it's like it's just a bad idea. It's
It's a
just a
There,
bad
terrible
idea
idea.
to flood the system, to flood because think about it. This is right. This is municipal government telling you use this. What happens when it doesn't work? What
You
happens
mean
when
when?
it
Yeah,
works against you? Right? That's the problem. It's like this shouldn't. It's not. It's in no way ready for anything like this.
there
So
was another story that I didn't save that went about the fact that Apple now is investigating and trying to come up with ways how to counter the misuse of AirTags.
yeah, exactly. It's not ready.
Well,
Idiots.
AirTag. All right. Um, T-Mobile. T-Mobile on last Monday, said it experienced a hack that exposed account pins and other customer data in the company's second network intrusion this year and the ninth since 2018. The intrusion, which started on February 24th and lasted until March 30th, affected 836 customers, according to a notification on the website of Maine's Attorney General. So 836. I don't understand how a hack that's like over a week only affects 836 users. That's
Yeah. I don't know what was hacked, so
uh,
I but I'm, going now and changing my passwords and PIN.
passwordless.
That's the thing with passwordless, by the way, that I have the most trouble with. Once, uh, something that holds the key is hacked, right? Then now you need to somehow invalidate all of the logins through that key. And I'm not sure that we're there yet, right? It's like I need to mark this. Okay, I've reset stuff on my end. Every connection needs to be a new connection. Ask me to reset everything.
Mhm.
If that exists, then yes, passwordless is better because then it's not about remembering the password, it's about me resetting it at a central location. So I wonder, it'll be interesting. I'm just not sure what the solution is.
I don't know that there is a solution now. I mean, we're talking about something that's still not being used, and I'm sure it's going to change big time as more people as people start using it. Maybe we'll learn something, and
Yeah,
some of these
keep
things will come
keep
to
in
light.
mind, passwordless isn't a new concept,
Right,
right?
right,
But
but it
but the real question is how will mass adoption look like?
yeah,
So
we'll have to wait and see. All right, listen to this. U.S. authorities have seized another major Z library domain, but still haven't been able to wipe the pirate book site off the internet. Z
oh, Z
library,
library. Yeah.
huh?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Z
They're an awesome
library
site.
I love Z
claims
Library.
it claims to offer over 13 million books, up from 11 million since U.S. authorities launched their first major operation against Z library late last year. Unfortunately, one of our primary login domains was seized today, Z Library wrote in a Wednesday message on its Telegram account. Therefore, we recommend using the domain singlelogin.re to log into our account, to your account, as well as to register. Please share this domain with others. And it says that in November, US authorities charged Russian nationals Anton Napolsky and Valerila Ermakova with criminal copyright infringement, wire fraud, and money laundering for allegedly operating Z Library. The U.S. said at the time that it seized 250 interrelated web domains run by Z Library and that Napolsky and Ermakova were arrested in Argentina at the request of the U.S. government. Other people continued to operate Z Library, which remained available on the Tor networks and returned to the ClearNet in February with a new strategy of assigning personal secret URLs to each user. So they give each user a different URL that is secret. I mean, this here is what people couldn't accomplish with what is it, the
What not?
blockchain, decentralized. Seems like they're doing.
Well, they're trying. This is a piracy download site for books.
Yeah,
Okay, let's just make it clear
right.
because some of the verbiage is really it's amazingly well developed. I cannot explain how they do what they do because it is it is clear that they have a complex infrastructure at the back end because they want to be authority proof, right? They want to be in a state that if something falls, right, they'll continue. Now, how they are as criminal as the publisher who are suing them make them, right? It's like they might continue to operate without any friction, or they'll be marked as sincerely bad evil. Uh, they are doing some very good service to a lot of people by making any book available anywhere in the world. But, right, the moment you do it without paying dues, that's when you become criminal. So they're a very it's unclear if they are doing this for ideology or they're doing it for a small profit of piracy, uh, because most of what they provide is free. You can buy, uh, you can pay a premium price to not be limited by the number of downloads a day, right? But otherwise, your IP can only download X amount of books.
Mhm.
So it's an interesting
Yeah,
conundrum. If
it's
you
very
look
interesting.
at there's some if you look at a subreddit called data hoarders, they are probably the unsung heroes there because they are preserving these copies for prosperity, for everyone to have access. If you talk to lawyers, they're probably appalled by the whole idea. So yeah, it's an interesting I find it interesting that it is driving so much attention by lawsuits right now. It's like uh, suddenly the publishers have amassed enough power in government to actually create coordinated, right, cross borders warrants for arrests. It's a complex thing. So yeah,
Yeah. All right, and the last story. Well, if I say Utah, what do you guys think about?
Utah
Yeah.
Utah.
Mormons.
Data center.
Whatever. I
Oh,
think
you said Utah. Okay.
Utah,
Uh-huh. State.
religion,
Fossils. There's a lot
Mormons.
of dinosaur fossils out there.
E.
What?
Isn't
There's
it?
there's dinosaur fossils in Utah since when?
Are you kidding me? Yeah, you need to take a trip out to the Grand Canyon and go all out west because there's a ton of dinosaur stuff. There's dinosaur poop. There's dinosaur footprints. I even have dinosaur poop has a official name, fossilized dinosaur poop. I don't know what
Does
it's
it
called.
stink?
No, it's a rock,
Probably not.
but it's in the
It's
shape of
fossilized.
yeah. It's super cool. Yeah,
Okay.
and Utah, I think it's the number one place for tar pits. And there's a ton of like mammoth bones and dinosaur stuff that got stuck in the tar. It's awesome.
The more you
Anyways.
know.
So anyway, something else about Utah. So internet users are turning to VPN services
Oh yes.
as a means to circumvent Utah's new law requiring porn sites to verify users' ages.
Bastards.
The spike in VPN searches appears to be directly related to Pornhub's decision on Tuesday to completely disable its websites for people living in the state. Google searches for virtual private networks, or VPNs, have been skyrocketing since, with a peak registered on May 3rd, the day the new law came into force. So by downloading a VPN service, pornography fans will be able to keep accessing Pornhub and similar sites with ease. That's because
I
virtual
think
private.
I think those VPN sites, right? They apps, they need to add a disclaimer. It's like, hey, if you're planning to watch porn, just know we're watching you.
This was this was Google's visualization of search by volume for VPN in Utah.
Wow.
100% of the share on May the 2nd,
Awesome.
the day before this went live. Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
This is a very European Union style with some of their stuff and how they will just do outright bans and restrictions on certain services. This is very much like the EU, which is I don't think is a good trend at all.
Uh,
I do not know of any EU bans like that. EU has a lot of protections of end users, but not banning, not blocking. So
There,
you're
from what
referring
I
to.
understand, there are some EU. They're not exactly like this, but they're doing it essentially through protection. They're like, oh, well, we're going to protect whatever by banning this or something of that nature.
Well, I mean, we know of China doing that. I do not know of EU. EU usually the method of operandum is different because the rights of the individual are very highly ranked, and so each individual can choose what they want to do. But a website, for example, would be fined if the user does not have a way of expunging themselves off it. For example, that will include a porn site. It will include everything. It will include any type of service. I do not know of such
are you reading? Are you
blocking,
reading?
but I will. I will definitely look into it because this is new to me.
Are you looking at the chat? What Joe the Max is saying
No,
No,
what's
I'll look in a sec.
says no. The EU never did anything like this. The UK did,
okay. Well,
Okay.
there was
but
my
not the
mix up. Yeah.
EU.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's yeah, that's interesting. Well,
Well,
that's all I got. And Joe was asking to the max how many modules I'm using today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that okay, Joe?
that many.
You just ran out of modules.
I did, and I got an infraction because of it. So here I stand with my color bars.
Uh, oh boy. Anywho, anything else anybody wants to bring?
Nah, I don't have anything. Well, side note, the weather's been so nice outside that I've been working outside in the yard. That's it. Before it gets hot and gross and humid.
All right. Nick, what you gonna do? I know you behaved yesterday, but what are you gonna are you gonna unleash today?
No, it's a Sunday. I, mean, I have to be up
I
at the
don't know.
ass crack of dawn tomorrow morning. No, probably. I think I'm gonna track what Katie was doing. I need to get some more yard feed and get that squared away, and maybe
Nice.
we'll start the garden today.
Yep.
We'll see how much motivation we get into after this.
I've been trying to do just like a little bit at a time. So I'm like, if I'm outside for 20 minutes, that's great. I did a wonderful job.
Yeah, the problem is you're not going to get your garden started until October. 20,
No, well,
20 minutes at
I
a time.
no, I've given up on trying to do a garden. I've got the past few years I got ravished by the local wildlife, and uh, like last year I didn't have a garden. The year before I went all out and I put up a fence and I tried the sprays and nothing worked. Like the deer were I don't know, they were like ninjas or something trying to get this food, my plants. So
The
I'm over
deer?
it.
What, you have deer roaming in your backyard?
Yeah, well, at my old house, there were packs of deer everywhere. Like, it was
Really?
ridiculous. Yeah, and it
I don't
went
know that
and
I've ever seen a deer on the side. I don't know that I've ever seen them any down here.
oh, no, they're everywhere.
Oh,
Ugh,
not here.
it's yeah, it was weird because I lived in the suburbs, so, like, there's just pack of deer. I don't know if somebody's feeding them. I don't know what's going on, but in my old neighborhood, there were just a ton of deer.
But maybe
Hmm.
in the new neighborhood, it's different.
Maybe, but I'm kinda
It's a lot
over
of
it.
emotional trauma to have to
Yeah.
deal
It
with.
is. I don't think I'm ready to revisit that time in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many of you read it, but Kyle, congratulations for his son's
Oh
graduation from
yeah,
college.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
yes,
nice
made
job.
me a very proud parent.
Very proud parent. Yep.
But now, from a student, he has become a deadbeat because he's looking for a job. So
Living back home already?
it was home the entire year.
Well,
the
then,
entire,
then straight deadbeat. You
Yeah.
walk the
Yeah.
stage,
See?
you're unemployed, and now you need
Exactly.
you're
Yeah.
deadbeat.
Where did he graduate from?
NC State.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yep, that's nice.
If
When I-
anybody has a sports management position for my son,
Oh, tell him to try a Football Manager 2023. I heard that's a great way.
oh,
to-
he's playing that. He's playing that. Yeah. So now he's looking for work, and we'll see.
He'll find
We'll
it.
see where it takes him. Oh, I'm sure.
Yep.
He has been doing his way uh, practically since he started the college thing. Chose a path that I cannot help him, um, he has not failed to walk that path for now. So I'm proud of him. That's all.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Thanks.
Don't wait. Don't forget next weekend. I think it's Mother's Day.
It
Oh,
is.
it is.
Yeah. So it might be on Sunday. I don't know, but for those people that are listening, next
It's
weekend,
always on
Mother's Day.
Sunday.
Yeah. Okay.
Easter might be on Sunday this year. but I heard too. Sorry, Kate.
No, I don't pay attention. I'm not religious or pay attention to holidays. Anyways, go ahead.
okay.
Close out the show.
All right. So thanks, Katie. Nick.
I'm going to be identifying as a mother next week. Trans
Okay.
identity.
And
You don't have
Gal.
any kids though, so you're not gonna get any presents.
He has
That's
a
fine.
cat.
Oh, the cat can
That's right.
give
Yeah,
you a
look at-
dead
look at-
bird.
She's right there.
Hey, it's being a parent, any way you look at it. All right. So thanks, guys, again. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Katie. Donna. Katie is here, right?
No problem. You can keep saying my name.
Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. And remember to change any passwords that repeat, that you use on more than one site. Change them to be unique on each site. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And again, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM. You can tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave during this time, Eastern. Or you can always go to nickcraig.com later on for the recording. And Tuesday, 7 p.m., Nick and Brian do the Infection podcast on Twitch. That's for survival games and gaming news with some political commentary. So Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. That's twitch.tv/infection podcast. We'll be back with you next week. Have a great week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and deltaforce.net.